you're wondering about the beanie, it's because it's like 25 degrees out and we're about to get snow. And if you live in the South, you know that snow down here shouldn't happen. It should stay warm all year round, but here we are about to get snow. But with snow, it's always fun to go out and take photographs and video, especially when you're south and you don't get snow a lot. And as many of you know, you can burn through your batteries very quickly, whether that's because you're out taking tons of photos and videos in the snow, or whether that is because you've been at a wedding all day. 5 or 6 batteries only go so far, especially when you're shooting 60 frames a second. And that's where this comes in handy. This is the 2-in-1 power bank by Llano. You can see how sleek of a design it is. You hit this button right here, and look, that's gonna tell us our percentage on the power bank, which is very cool. And you have this top part right here, you open up, and that is where your batteries are gonna go. Also, Llano sent this over to me in order to do a video, and that is payment, so I have to disclose that. Just throwing that out there, because sometimes creators are like, well, they didn't pay me, but they sent this over to me. Well, that's payment, because this thing costs $150. And for a battery charger, $150 is a lot of money, so let's jump into it and see if it's something you need. So let's go over the outside really quick. So we have the front portion right here, and you have the button right there. That's gonna tell you your percentage. And here's the bottom portion. It's just gonna tell you the FZ100 Sony batteries can go in there, and just that it's 20 watts, it's PD 3.0 technology, which is very nice, and it's got dual fast charging. And then this part right here, here's your in and out. So if you want to charge 2 things in the power bank at once, and then obviously this side just blank, the back is also blank. And then here is the top portion. All you do is slide this up and you can throw your batteries in there. There is no hinge on here, so it will fall right back down. That is kind of a bummer, but you just drop it down and you're good. And that's how it goes. You're just gonna drop it on there, push down, and that's it. You're gonna take your Sony batteries, arrow down, and you're just gonna drop them right in. They don't lock in place. In order to lock them in place, you actually have to close it, and then it's locked in place. But when you open it, you see how fast that comes up, and they're not locked in place. And here's the front portion right here, and let's click on it. So we're at 99%, and you can see right here what we've got going on is you can see how there are 4 columns on this side and 4 on this side. So that's gonna tell you if you have a battery on both sides and what their percentage is at. So it's not going to tell you like that it's at 72%, but it's going to tell you, okay, each bar is 25. And when we get a full solid 4 bars, then we're going to be at 100%. And you can tell right now, we're at about a little over 75% for both of these. And if you're just charging one battery, it's just going to have the one side on there charging. And one of the cool things is if you plug it in with the cable that comes with it, it's a 20-watt cable. You see that little green thing that popped up? That's actually telling us that it's fast charging. So it will actually charge the batteries as well as the power bank at the same time. So if you need to have your batteries in there and you want to charge your power bank, you can throw 2 batteries in there, sit it down, leave it, and come back to it, and it'll have both of them charged. And one of the things to note is it will take you 2.5 hours to go from 0 to 100 on both batteries. So if you have this at 100%, both your batteries are dead, it will take 2.5 hours. So without the batteries, it's about $100, but with batteries that you can get from Llano, it's about $150. But overall, it's a really neat product. And now there are a couple things, like I said, that I am not keen on. And number one is just gonna be this area right here that we already talked about, right? You can see it just pops open so easy, and now we're not charging. So if you have this in your bag and somebody accidentally touches it, or your bag drops or whatever, and somehow it comes undone and you need these batteries, you might be screwed. And now the second thing is obviously gonna be the size of it. Because you can see this is pretty big. Like it's not super small. Like if I compare it, and this is the Anker 737, which is 24,000 ohms. So you get double what this is. And let's look at the size, right? So the height is very similar. Obviously the Anker one's a little taller, but the big thing is when you go down here. So we can see the size difference right here. We're about 1/3 less than this with higher capacity. Now, is that a big deal? No, because if you wanted to charge your batteries, you're gonna have to get this and then get something like this, and you're not gonna be able to do that if you're on a shoot, right? It's gonna be a little hard to have a cable running in here onto your camera and doing it that way. And if we really want to compare it, this is a small rig one that I use on my monitors, right? You can see how small that is compared to this. About the same height, but when we turn it sideways, look at that. About half, right? It's about half. and this thing is 10,500 ohms. So you could get this, which is about $80, and just be able to plug it in. Here's your 2-in-1, and here you go, right? There you go. And you can sit it down, walk away, and let it charge. And you can see how small it is. But then, obviously it's like anything else, then you gotta take this, the cable, and this, and what happens if you lose something? Then you're not gonna be able to. Versus this, everything's right there. And then the last thing that's not really a critique about it, but I thought would have been really cool if you could do with this, is the fact that you have 2 batteries in here, 4,600 ohms. And then we've got 12,400 down here. So we're at about 17,000 ohms. And what would have been awesome is the fact that if we could just use that battery energy in here to go through here, right? Because what if you run out of battery in the power bank part, but you have battery power left in here? Now, wouldn't have been cool is if you could use those batteries, because say your cell phone dies or your computer dies, and that's more important than having camera batteries. It would have been awesome if there was even some type of other connector in the back that allows you to do that. Or like a switch down here that would allow you to say, okay, I want it to do that, or I don't want it to do that. And it'd been very nice if it had something like that. But that's just a little thing that to me is not really a big deal. Here's the standard one a lot of people get. Here's the Llano one. So we can see obviously the size difference. Height, about the same. Everything else, you can see the difference. Those are just some things that's really cool. You can get your cell phone from 0 to 50% in about 30 minutes, and you can use it to charge your MacBook if you need to. You can use it to charge anything else, or if you want to, you can actually have a power bank charge this power bank if you need to do something like that, because maybe you don't want to take this with you because obviously like it's small and all that, and your power bank runs out and you'd rather have this power bank than this one, and you need to charge your batteries. You can charge it through that. It doesn't necessarily have to be plugged into a wall as long as you have your USB-C charger, because like I said, we have it hooked up. You can see that the green little button. Now we're good to go. But I hope this was helpful for you, because it is a very interesting concept and interesting product. The only thing I wish is maybe that it weighed a little less, but you can't win them all, especially when it comes to having something that charges your batteries, and you can just sit down, walk away from, you come back, and your batteries will be charged. And you don't want to have to worry about somebody possibly pulling one of your plugs out of the wall, because it happens. Somebody's going to come by and be like, oh, I need that outlet, and then they're not going to plug your stuff back in. You can go back and your battery's going to be dead. This can stay in your bag and you don't have to worry about that. But like always, I appreciate you hanging out with me. I hope this video was helpful to one of y'all out there. And if it was, we ask you just to hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button. God bless, and I'll see y'all in the next one.